If you're in the States and you shop online, specifically Amazon for pedals like myself, then you should be very familiar with all the mini budget Chinese wholesale pedals. They're so common, there's all kinds of effects. If there's effects you can name, there's probably already one. It's so common that even Amazon has an Amazon basic pedals. Anyway, one of them stood out to me, and that is the Holy War Distortion. And you might ask, what's so special about Holy War Distortion? Well, as a guitarist who's a fan of Megadeth, the name Holy War naturally piqued my interest. Does this sound like the tone in Holy Wars? Or honestly, we should be asking, for $30, does it even sound halfway decent? The only way to find out is to try it, right? So I looked into it, and when I did, I found out that there's not one, two, but there are a total of 6 Holy War distortions on Amazon. So which one is the best? Well, in order to find it out, you have to try it yourself, right? And that's what I did. Right here, I have all 6 Holy War distortion pedals that I can find on Amazon, and that's what we're gonna do today. Let's get into today's Is It Worth It? Since there are 6 pedals all named Holy War, I'll introduce them by their brand and their current listed price on Amazon. First, we have the Rowan Holy War going for $33.99. Next, we have the Stax Holy War at $33.50. Next is the Kugo Holy War, which has the lowest asking price of $29.50. Up next is the VSN Holy War, which also has the lowest asking price of $29.50. Then we have the Guitarist Holy War, which is $34.99. Finally, we have the Tom's Line Holy War at $41.58. By now, I know you're probably gonna say, hey, 5 of those pedals look identical. To that, I will say, funny you mentioned that, because not only do they look identical, their packagings are identical too, with the exception of Rowan, probably because they're the main manufacturer. And you know what's even funnier? Their product manuals are also identical. At this point, you're probably thinking exactly what I'm thinking. Are these the same pedal just with different branding? Well, by appearance, I think it's safe to assume that they are. So I decided that before I even plug my guitar in, I'm going to open all of the identical looking pedals to see if the circuits are the same. So I got to work, and here's the result. Yeah, as you can see, the interior is exactly the same, every single one of them. They're just the same pedal with different branding. The Stax one didn't even bother with any rebranding. Most of the brands at least have a different design and color, but the Stax they just slap some weird splat pattern on the face, change the brand name, and that's it. Like, you can still see the imperfection on the frame. So is that it? Just they're the same pedal? No, there's more. After my initial findings, I dug deeper and found out even more interesting things. Since we now know that these are the same Chinese wholesale pedals with different appearances, we have to at least search one possible source. So I went to the most common Chinese wholesale website, Alibaba. Of course, just as I expected, I was able to find Rowan's Holy War Distortion pedal selling for $14.80 a pop. It does have a 10-piece minimum requirement for an order, but if you order over 50 pieces, guess what? You get to have customized logo as well as customized graphic designs. So here you have it. This is the source of all of the Holy War Distortion pedals that look the same. Now what about Tom's Line? Since I didn't see it on Alibaba, that must mean it's not a wholesale pedal, right? Well, not so fast. Since I now know you can private label these pedals, I went back on Amazon and searched for metal distortion pedal and started looking for pedals with the same construction and feature. To my amazement, I found way more of the same exact pedal, all branded with different names and appearances on Amazon, which is why I couldn't find them all just by searching Holy War Distortion. What's more interesting is that I was even able to find a rebranded version of Tom's Line's Holy War as well. So with that said, we can safely conclude that Tom's Line's distortion pedal is also being wholesaled somewhere else. What I learned from this little excursion is that you will find one parent company that develops the products, and then those products will be put up for wholesale. This is how you end up with a bunch of clones with different appearances. From what I've seen, the main manufacturers are Rowan, Donner, Joyo, and Aroma, which is the company that owns the Tom's Line engineering brand. With this knowledge in mind, spotting clones on Amazon becomes very easy. If you see pedals sharing the same construction and feature and settings, like having the same amount of knobs at the same location arranged the same way, it is more than likely a clone, especially if it bears a strange name like pile or meaty, you know. To conclude, if you're shopping for budget pedals, just make sure you don't buy the same looking pedals or just buy it from the main manufacturers mentioned earlier. Okay, we now know that the pedals are all the same. It's safe to assume that all of the Roland clones, aka everything except the Tom's Line Holy War here, will sound exactly the same. But just for laughs, I'll still play it just to see if there's any difference between them. Since we're playing the Holy War pedals, of course there's only one song we can play to appropriately test the pedal. No, I'm just kidding. Here's a little quick sound test. Alright, now that we pretty much covered everything we have to say here, let's address the elephant in the room, which is it a scam? To that, I will have to say I don't think it's a scam. I can't in good faith call this a scam. Is it a quick come up to repackage the same product and sell it many different ways? Yeah, sure it is, but that's just the nature of Amazon. The product itself, it is well constructed. It has good tone. It does exactly what it promises to do. I really can't call this a scam. Now, the next question is it worth it? And to that, I will definitely say, yeah, it is. I mean, come on, we're talking about 30 to 35 bucks. What do you got to lose? If you don't have a powerful enough computer, you don't have an interface, or you're just not into, MSyn or plugins, whatnot, then $30 goes right into your amp, and then you can crank it up and start playing metal. You really have nothing to lose. So $30 to $35, it is definitely worth it. Now, when it comes to which one should you get, well, they're all the same. So at the end, just either pick the cheapest one or the best looking one to you. To me, I prefer the guitar one. If we're talking about the Roland wholesale one, this one to me has the best look, but that's just me. If not, then I definitely prefer the Tom's Line version. Specifically, I love the design having this little stopper, so when you stomp on it, so it doesn't kick the knob. That's a very nice touch to have that. So yeah, it's either between these two, but this one is also closer to $50, so that's a consideration. But at the end, it's totally up to you. So with that said, I'll see you next time.